8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, and welcome to the EM Publishing monthly live stream in April. I'm Jessica Hancock, the business manager at EM Publishing, but much more excitingly, I have an amazing cast of people here. I have the cast of the STAR-CROSSED Seaways here, the first Level Up Advanced 5th Edition campaign, which is starting next week on Tuesday 26th. So I asked them to come along today and chat to me about that. So if you lovely folks could introduce yourself. Took, I'll start with you that way.
Me? Oh boy. Hello everybody. I am Darren, but known as Took, I guess, on everywhere, honestly.
On the internet, yeah.
Just on the internet here. One thing here. I am Took, I guess, mainly on TikTok and on Twitch. I am a streamer, a D&D nerd in general. Yep.
we all are here. That's excellent. That's why you invited to be here, because I wanted some nerds to do this campaign.
Oh, yes. Of course.
And with you as well, we have Gabby as well.
Hello. My name is Gabby. I use she, they pronouns. You can find me on TikTok at GabbySoGabby. I do TTRPG skits there, and I'm also part of a live stream on Tuesdays called Queer Questers. And I'm also part of a live D&D podcast. There you can find out on Spotify, a bunch of places where you can find podcasts called Unhinged Heroes.
Excellent. And we also have Kurt as well. Kurt, do you want to introduce yourself to the podcast?
Yes, hi. My name is Kurt Streidinger. You can find me on most places at Mr. Kurtwise on TikTok and Twitter mostly. I also stream on Twitch with the 5% Chance channel, where I DM a little game called Diceberg every other Tuesday night.
Awesome. And last but by no means least, our GM, Sarah.
Hello, my name is Sarah. I am on Twitter at _DM_Sarah, and I will be the narrator for the stream. So I'm very excited for that.
So the narrator is what we call kind of what you'd have like as the GM in D&D for Level Up, which I got my copy of the other day, this beautiful tome here. So Kickstarter backers, if you are in the UK and Europe, it will have arrived with you. US backers, I know you're sitting there going, where is mine, including Sarah?
Yes, I'm dying.
Do not fear, because they are on a boat. They are on their way to you. Excitingly,
that's so scary.
excitingly, Tuesday the 26th is the day the campaign is, and that is also the same day that the book is due at port. As if meant to be. But Kickstarter, because if you're waiting for your books, we will update you next week when they have left port, when they've cleared customs, because that can take its time there. Yes, and it is a big boat, because there were thousands of you that backed this. So there's thousands of books on there. It's the biggest order we've had in a while. We have our own like not pallet, not crate, what's it called? A shipping container. We have our own shipping container full of these books. So it's a big one there. But as I said, yes, you will have your PDFs, so you can always read through your PDFs. So a lot of people coming in the comments here. Are people Level Up backers, or are people coming up to ask about what Level Up Advanced 5th Edition is? If you let me know in the comments. But for those of you maybe aren't sure about what Level Up is, I'm going to show you a quick clip of the video just now.
Level Up Advanced 5E.
Are you ready to level up your 5th edition game? Level Up Advanced 5th Edition adds depth and diversity to the game you love. A beautiful standalone full-colour hardback containing everything you need to play, featuring new rules, inspiration and advice on character creation and origins. Customize your 5th edition character like never before. Combine a heritage with a culture to create your origin. Choose your background and your destiny. Adventuring classes. Select your adventuring class and make meaningful choices at every character level. With a fully revised ranger and the new martial class, along with a full overhaul of all the classes you know and love, you'll find added depth and choice from new features, combat maneuvers and exploration knacks.
a little sneak peek there to give you a bit more information about it. But instead of video, I actually have somebody here who wrote large stages of this book. So not only is Sarah a professional GM, you also wrote the book. So Sarah, could you?
Let's be clear. My chapter is not.
Well, yeah, not the whole thing. There's over 30 people that went into creating this, but you were one of the people.
I was a lead designer.
Can you tell us a little bit about your involvement with it, and if you had to give like an elevator pitch, if someone said, I've not heard of Level Up Advanced 5th Edition, how would you describe it?
Ooh, oh, that's a great question. I mean, usually what I come in with it is it's 5th edition. So if you know 5th edition, you can pick it up. Mm-hmm. But we've fleshed out the exploration pillar. We've given you more meaningful choices. There's choices at every level, so you don't have to multi-class to do something interesting with how your character evolves. There's new monsters, there's new magic items, and it's all compatible with the system that you already know and love. And that is usually how I pitch it to folks, because it's delightful. And as you said, I'm a pro GM. I'm usually running 5th edition, although I'm going to be starting up a Level Up campaign soon, as soon as the new one an old one wraps. But I can bring in the elements of Level Up into my game seamlessly as I choose, and that's phenomenal. That's so much fun.
That's awesome. We have some people here that are a backer that got their PDF and they're currently playing an Elven Sorcerer. So people are already starting and playing. We also have the campaign we're here to talk about, STAR-CROSSED SEAWAYS. And I have a little teaser video to show you that some folks have seen. And then I'm going to be asking the real hard-hitting questions where we have the cast to tell us about their characters. As you can see, a little bit of a piratey theme given away there. So that's kind of the cast we have here. You'll notice Robin, the other cast member, she couldn't make it for the live stream, but she will be there next week on Tuesday the 26th when we start streaming. But for now, as people have said, yes, they cannot wait to hear about the player characters in this campaign. So I think the session 0 is happening after this live stream to finalize some details. But we have some pretty good ideas of what's going on already. So I'm going to put you back in the hot seat first, Took, if you could tell us all about your character.
Oh, boy. Well, I'm excited. Excited. Well, this is my first time ever playing an elf, because for whatever reason, I never decided to play one. But I'm deciding this time around because I just love everything you guys were doing with them. And his name is Vala Bishpetul. Pretty much not a talker, super tall, lanky, awkward, pretty much show his personality through actions and things of that nature. And I'm also gonna be playing a herald. Never played that before either. I'm doing a whole bunch of new things.
Well, it's Level Up Advanced 5th Edition. Time to do something new. What made you choose the Herald class? Because that's kind of something a bit new in Level Up that we put in.
Yes, I am usually the type of person who would play warlock, barbarian, or like a rogue. Kind of stick with the oldies.
Classics.
The classic, stick with the classics type of guy. And even in any other RPGs, I never really chose like a paladin or someone of faith to a very degree. Spells hurt brain. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a try. I can read.
That's great. Well, okay, I can read. I can do this. What a positive kind of attitude coming in there. We've had someone ask that if we're recording session 0, and we're not recording session 0. But what we will do afterwards is put up all the details of the character sheets and what's been finalized on enliverpg.com. So website just there. She says, gesturing it just above me. So put detail on there. And we chose not to do session 0 on camera because we're also going to be talking about like safety mechanisms and different things like that. So we just thought it was better to have it offline. First episode will be next week on Tuesday. So Took, that's your little character summary there. Gabby, could you talk us about your very creative character idea that you sent me?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to be playing a little gnome rogue, and their name is going to be Applestock. Just a fun little character, just roaming around the little countryside and getting into a little bit of mischief here and there.
Excellent. Okay, great. And what kind of heritage, like backstory things did you kind of take for them?
Yes, so I don't want to give away too much, but
Oh, no? Okay.
heritage is gnome. The culture is forgotten folks.
Mhm.
And they have a little bit of a marauder background, and I am very excited. Having all of these different like categories to pick from and choose from was so much fun because it helped me work on the specificity of her background and like how Applestock got to where they are currently. And that was just a really fun part of the character creation. I can't wait till we get into a little bit more in session 0.
Excellent. Sounds good. And people are loving the character accent as well. So already a winner, it sounds like. Some players have chosen to have a more formal, dignified character, though, like Kurt. Kurt, would you like to tell us about your very regally named character?
I'm going to be playing Lewin Aubrey Morgan Baphomet, of the esteemed Morgan Baphomets of the
course.
Infinite Abyss.
Yes.
I will be playing a plain touched tiefling, who is part Baphomet, the Lord of the Minotaurs. So he's like a half Minotaur looking tiefling. I'll be playing a warlock. Because I, similar to Took, also typically go towards the like martial classes. I'm a fighter main in regular 5th edition. So I thought this would be a really cool chance to pick up like a spellcasting class and give that a shot.
Awesome. And this is your first time using Level Up Advanced 5th edition. How did you find the process of creating your character different from D&D?
I really loved it. It was really cool. All of the, I agree with Gabby, all of the extra like options and specificity that you get to add. I typically come at character creation through like the idea of the character and then like put it all into the mechanics. So the extra like origin and background and culture options really helped me like make it a lot more specific and really make it feel like the character I was trying to make. So it was really nice.
Awesome. It's good to hear because I think that was the intention. So that's great to know. If you haven't seen the character sheets and you're not familiar with Level Up 5th edition, we have a website, levelup5e.com. And in the resources, there's the character sheets there. So you can take a look and see how that's done. And there's examples of how you make a character and kind of how that's different as well. So you can have a look in there to take a little look at that. And we're posting the character sheets for the campaign on enliverpg.com, where there's a campaign page there, so you can check that out all in advance. So someone have asked as well about the characters. So I know like getting into details of session 0 later, but what do you see as your character's place on the ship or in the crew? Because obviously this is going to be piratey themed, so we're setting it off on a pirate. So Took, where do you see your character's kind of role in this group of interesting characters we've just gone through?
Well, I was thinking about that. I was like, yeah, and then like with certain things I rolled for like abilities for stuff like that. I was trying to think logically that way, and then I was like, bam. Organizer.
You're going to be the organizer. So you're going to be the person that gets stuff done on the ship.
Essentially, like he's really big into chores and keeping the the uptake on the deck, and I don't know the actual name for the person
We
who
haven't. Yeah.
for the person who like fixes the ship and like do all that stuff and like make sure that everything is clean. The janitor, I don't know.
The ship Okay, excellent. You have such grand ideas. I love that you're in a role-playing game. You're like, I can be anything I want to be. And you're like, what do you want to do? I was like, I want to clean this pirate ship. It's a fantasy role-play moment, right? That's great. I love it. So that's what role-playing's for. It's got the diversity and depth to be whatever you want to be. And if that's what you want, we're here to support that AEM publishing. That's great. So Gabby, with your character, what kind of role do you see them having on the ship and in the party?
I foresee them definitely being a little bit of a stowaway. Yeah, definitely. The position is I'm not supposed to be in this position, but hopefully eventually we will probably be the resident sneaky person that just searches for those traps and hopefully gets everybody out of trouble. But for now, our position is maybe in a crate somewhere on the ship.
Okay. The streetwise one, then, if you can find your way out of that crate, that'll be the first skill check, perhaps, in the campaign.
Oh, goodness.
I don't know. That's up to Sarah. Okay, awesome. And Kurt as well. So you've introduced this very regal character. So what's their role in the party and the ship going to be?
So I'm imagining that Lewin wasn't always a part of the crew, and that he was actually abducted by the crew and held for ransom.
Right.
For ransom from Baphomet, but he's never really gotten along well with his family, so they didn't want to pay the ransom, so he's just been stuck on the ship. So really, whatever luggage, I guess, might be an accurate term for.
That's kind of sad in a way, but I really hope there's a character arc where this becomes his found family, maybe, or something. That would be nice with this interesting group of people that we've discussed. But yes, yes, and people are loving that character thing, so that makes perfect sense. So thank you very much. That's kind of the roles that we have going on for that. Next, we have a question for Sarah about what level will the campaign be starting at? So Sarah.
That's a great question. And because this is not going to be the last of streams like this, I wanted to actually start at level 1. And part of that is because in original 5th edition, level 1, it's not that interesting. You haven't really even picked an archetype for most of your classes at level 1. You won't even do that to level 3 sometimes. So I wanted to start it at level 1 so we could really showcase, like, just from the get-go, how interesting, how complex, how much goes into these characters, because I think that's one of the areas that Level Up really significantly improved on. I know so many people who are like, I'd rather just start playing original 5th edition at level 3. And so I really want to show off how level 1's great. They have nothing. They're so powerless. It's fun. So I'm very excited to start at level 1 and probably go through to 7 or 8. I mean, it's 8 episodes. I think that's feasible.
Yeah. Sounds good. And as you mentioned, this is going to be season 1 of our campaign, so we will have other campaigns planned, but let's get through the first one and talk you through that first before we get ahead of ourselves. So going on as well, we have another question. What is about Level Up made each of you most excited to play this campaign? If we had to pick something kind of about it, because when I approached you all, people I'd seen on TikTok that I really liked pretty much. Just fangirling out. I was like, will you be in my campaign that I'm running for Level Up? And then I sent you the details and was like, take a look, see what you think. If I could get some ideas on your first impressions and like what made you kind of say yes and want to play it. I've made Took go first every single time, so now I'm going to pick on Kurt to go first.
Sure. So originally I was gonna say, like, looking through the book, the beginning, like we said, like the background and the origins and the culture and everything really excited me, and that hooked me. But the thing I think I'm most excited about is, as I kept scrolling through the book, was the equipment chapter. Oh, that
Okay.
thing was so meaty.
Yeah.
There was so many cool abilities on different like equipment and so many new options for useful items that weren't just like here's a backpack with some basic stuff. Like it felt like really meaningful choices. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how that equipment and how that expansion like really plays out in the game mechanics.
I love that you said that because I worked on weapons and armor, so that makes me really happy.
I reckon he knew that, and he's just trying to get in with the GM. He's like, my favorite bit is the bit that Sarah wrote. Don't kill me. Awesome. So same question I'll ask you, Gabby, as well. So what is it that the first time you looking through Level Up made you want to play and say yes to the campaign?
I mean, if we're doing this to like appease Sarah here, it's every single part she wrote specifically, clearly. But no, all jokes aside, I definitely, again, like the character creation process was so fascinating to me, specifically the section about destiny.
Yeah.
I love that idea of like, oh, there's like kind of this thing that everybody can have, every character has, that can lead to them getting inspiration, you know, if they follow that destiny and if they like keep on going on that path. It's such a nice way that you can be rewarded by like making character choices. And I really was so intrigued by that. And I'm like, I want to be a part of this so I can see how that is in action.
Excellent. Well, luckily for you, on Tuesday the 26th next week, it will happen.
And it can't come soon enough.
Excellent. So Turk, I'm going to take the question to you as well, because I didn't pick on you and make you go first this time. So
Thank you. No. The spells. My God. The spells. I ran to that section. I was like, I need to see them. Oh my God. Just the unique way that they've just been designed and the way they were made, and just the many ideas that I can take them and use them in game and RPU. And I already came up with like 6 plans. It's just that part of it. It just it made me so happy.
Hence you choosing a spellcaster character, then that makes a bit of sense.
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons why I was like, yep, Harold, there we go.
Yeah. Not being a rogue this time. No spells there. Okay. Well, that's awesome. Well, people are liking the characters by the sound of it, and the fact that we have clear ideas what's going on before we've even started. So yeah, imagine what's going to happen when they're actually role-playing during a session. So we've talked a little bit about Level Up. If you have any questions about the campaign, please ask as we go through. But I'm going to talk a little bit more about Level Up Advanced 5th edition, because here I've got a pretty picture that I'll put on the screen to show everyone, because we haven't done that yet. Oh, look, you can't really see me, but that's not important. I'm not the pretty one here. So we have the STAR-CROSSED Seaway, which will be starting next week, Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern time, and that'll be going on for 8 weeks, so you can check it out there. Also on the website, enliverpg.com, we'll archive all the episodes there. There's also going to be a podcast of it, so if you prefer listening to it, you can listen to that, and they'll all be archived on there, so you can catch up whenever you like. But obviously, we're using the Level Up Advanced 5th edition system, and so right now we're getting all the books out to backers. So if you're in the UK and EU, you might have books in your hands, much like I do. But if you are, so show you books in your hand, much like I do here. But if you are based in North America, you might perhaps not receive yours yet. That's because the boat will be arriving next week, and we'll update you on Kickstarter to let you know about when they're going to be in your hands, because we know you all want them. Sarah's one of those people that doesn't have them as well, and she was one of the writers, so it's not just you. But looking at Level Up Advanced Edition, we're thinking about the future of it already. So we're already planning and writing. So this is a line that we're going to invest and support in. And so we have 3 new books planned to come out already. So we have the Void Runners Codex, which is a sci-fi themed book. So if you're wanting to play something that's kind of, you know, in a different setting that's not fantasy, but using the same mechanics and tools, that's it here. They are all completely cross-compatible with each other. So if you wanted, you could port a wizard into a sci-fi setting if you so wanted. But this rule book will have new heritages, classes, equipment, and everything that supports that sci-fi sci-fi setting. We also have the Dungeon Delver's Guide. So that's everything you need to run an adventure underground. So there'll be new player options, again, new equipment, new magic, regions, and lots of several pre-made dungeons as well. So that's currently in development. And we also have To Save a Kingdom, which is an adventure book for characters level 1 to 15. So you can check all those out. We've got them at levelup5e.com. And right now, if you're like, wow, that sounds really cool, and I want to try them out, you can, because we're looking for playtesters to try out our new classes we're making for the Void Runners Codex. So we have the Scientist and the Scion class. So we don't have magic in the setting because it's sci-fi, but we do want people to have kind of psionic abilities and be able to do cool things like that. So the playtest documents are up on the website. If you go to, let me get a cool link for everybody. Look at me looking all professional, knowing where all my links are. No, I can't find it, but it's levelup5e.com/news. And if you go on there, then you'll see the information on the Scientist and the Scion class. So you can play test them now and take a look. And we'd really like your feedback because we're in the process of writing them. And Level Up has always been quite a collaborative process. So we're really keen to have you kind of involved in that from that instance. And as you can see at the bottom of the screen as well, we have something very exciting happening on the 26th. So not only are books arriving in the US for Level Up, not only is the new campaign starting, but also we are launching another Kickstarter because we can't stop making stuff at EM Publishing. And this is the first Kickstarter that I've been allowed to do partially supervised by Russ. So if people could support it, that would be great. And this is Can We Keep It? Pets for your 5e game. So this is compatible for D&D 5th edition, also, of course, compatible for Level Up Advanced 5th edition. And it's designed for if you're a GM and you have a party that wants to adopt every single critter and creature they come across, and you want some rules and mechanics for how to do that, that's what this is. So we have some new kind of elemental pets in there as well, one of which is a dust bunny, for example. And we also have rules for when you meet creatures out in the wild, what rule sets do you have for how do you recruit them? So we want all classes to be able to have pets. So it's not just, your druids and things like that having pets. Now everybody can have them. So that'll be launching next week on Tuesday the 26th. The PDFs are just £7, which is just shy of $10, I think. But all the details will be out on there. And if you follow the link, you will be able to follow. On Kickstarter, when you can click follow this campaign, so you get an alert when it launches. I've put the details in the chat there and the link because the link is very long and looks like this, and nobody's going to want to read that out. So those are kind of the details we have going on there that I want to share with you on updates that we have going on at EM Publishing for the new books. So if you could jump in with any questions you kind of have about bits and pieces like that, I would love to answer them. So we have some questions already. So someone's like, I need that Dungeon Delver's Guide now. We are working on it, and as soon as it's done, we will let you do that. We are planning on bringing the first one to Kickstarter to crowdfund in like the autumn time. But we will announce a date as soon as possible. And someone else wants to know how Russ keeps taking, who owns EM Publishing, who's taking the wallet for a book they didn't even know they wanted. That's great to hear. We love your support on Kickstarter. And people loving the dust bunnies, thank you. I also liked it too, and that's why I picked to kind of have it in there. So going on, I very quickly steamrolled through that because I didn't know what everyone would kind of want updates on. But if you have some questions about the upcoming Level Up books, please ask now. And we're going to jump to some questions I can see in the chat that we have already. So somebody has asked, and this is just generally to the cast and also to Sarah as the GM, the things you're going to put in the game. Is there a specific feature or spell that you're particularly excited to use for the upcoming campaign?
I could start with that because I have a lot.
Yeah.
So the number one thing that I'm really excited that I've already been using and I really enjoy is exploration challenges, because exploration is one of those things that it's tough. There's not a lot of rules around it. And some of the things that I'm just really talking about the stuff that I did, but I really liked it, was to make exploration challenges somewhere between a 4th edition skill challenge and a 5th edition monster stat block in terms of what they look like on the page, and make it a really easy way to run a really exciting, intense encounter that has nothing to do with monsters and everything to do with the environment. So I'm stoked to use that.
Mhm.
Having the enthusiasm for spells, I'm stoked to use the rare spells as rewards for quests, because that's a thing that exists. I'm really stoked about that. And then I think the third thing is the Destinies piece. I love the idea of characters having a narrative arc, especially for a stream that we know it's 8 episodes and we're done with the story. So I love having a destiny that someone can achieve. And maybe that is that we end up with a found family aboard this pirate ship, because I love found family as a trope. But the idea of having those narrative arcs is really exciting to me. And I think the Destinies approach is a really, really good way to do that.
Definitely. Well, you're not alone, because there are people in the comments saying that exploration challenges are great in A5E, so it's not the only person. So for people that have just joined us, we had another few people just jump in. So hello, welcome. We are here doing our EM Publishing Monthly Update, and we have the cast of the STAR-CROSSED Seaway, which will be going live. It's the first Level Up Advanced 5th Edition campaign, and that's on Twitch here, where you are right now, maybe, or wherever you're watching, actually, at 3 p.m. EST every Tuesday starting next week. So hello, welcome, and come give your questions. So going back to the comment that we were on, back to, is there a specific feature or spell you're particularly excited to use? Does anyone else have any input for that, or have we gone through everything? Took is putting your hand up very sweetly. Yes. I feel like a teacher in school. Yes.
So, it's called Calculated Retribution. This thing is so cool. I'm so excited. I may or may not have sat here for like maybe 2 hours reading every spell in every class. But it's so cool. Is that I love abjuration magic, because not a lot of people give abjuration as much credit as they really should. And this spell showcases that, and I kind of don't want to explain it because I want people to see it, because I may or may not have taken that.
Okay. So this is part of okay, cool. Something we're going to get to see during the campaign then, for sure. Okay, awesome. That's great to hear. I've had somebody just ask a question as well regarding the new Kickstarter. We have Pets for Your 5e game launching next week. So they've asked, oh, their comment disappeared. I'm so sorry. That was the internet and not me. So they said, is this going to be the usual way in publishing Kickstarters where we get the PDFs as soon as the Kickstarter is over? And the answer is yes. So the minute the campaign ends, we'll send you your PDF. So you'll have that instantly. And this will be a quick starter that will last just 10 days. So it'll be 10 days. So grab it or miss out, and you'll instantly get your PDF. If you're ordering the softcover books, there'll be pretty a few weeks of us getting them out to you, because we'll need to first ask for your address to where to send it, and then we will need to print it and send it to you. But that will be with you in May. So that'll be a much kind of quicker process. There'll be no boats involved in this quick starter. Yeah, hopefully that answers your question there. Did you have any questions about spells or features, or shall I move on to another question? I'm going to move on to another question, which is an excellent question, which is how piratey on a scale of 1 to pirate R will the campaign be?
So, I mean, I made a joke in our Discord that, I can write a Black Sails, but it's a tabletop game, so it will end up being our flag means death, no matter what I do. That's just a given.
Okay.
But really, I think how I want it to be, like, piratey is the vibe. Absolutely. I think that it's set up really nicely for a tabletop game to have like that closed group of people that goes on adventures and explores the seas and the different, like you have a natural nemesis and that there's some kind of privateer force. Like there's a ton of fun stuff there. So that's kind of where I'm thinking pirates in terms of flavor, with the exception of, actually we'll talk about this in session 0, but I'm not, firearms are usually a thing in pirates, but really the fun is the sword fighting. So the answer is probably like pirate art, and then we'll discuss in I don't know what that was.
That answers your question. So on a scale of 1 to pirate R, it will be pirate R. is the idea. And a few more people have just joined us, and if you're like, what are they talking about? Just to clarify again, so the Star-Crossed Seaway is a pirate themed campaign we're starting next week, which will be using a level up advanced 5th edition system, and so that's why we're talking about pirates here. So there is context, I do promise. So I think imagine some people just wondered and be like, what is happening? And people are in favor with the pirate theme. So yeah, so come on Tuesdays and watch along if you're doing that. So no problem. So some people are excited about the characters. They're saying they can't wait to see Kurt roleplay his character. It's been great to kind of jump in this game during these chaotic times that we live in. And I feel like it's going to be a chaotic kind of setting because star-crossed means ill-fated or unlucky. So that's kind of the theme of the campaign and why we chose that. Everyone's loving the group, so I'm just going to put some like fan comments in because that's quite nice that people like you folks already, because we haven't even started the campaign, and that's great. I think they're great too. That's why I invited them. So moving on to talking about the combat maneuver section of advanced level of advanced 5th edition, and they talk about traditions and things like that. So could you, for people that don't know about combat maneuvers and level up, could you give a little overview of what that is and how that works?
Yes. So combat maneuvers they're different things that you can do as a more martial class. So there's some that are basic and anyone can do. So, the rogue wants to like leap through the air and jump onto the dragon's back. There are rules for that, and that's a basic maneuver. And you don't have to have any particular training to be able to like climb onto some other creature. But if you're a more martial class, you also have access to a pool of different traditions with different maneuvers that you can do. And they give you certain, there's a lot of different things that they do. So I'm having a hard time describing all the things. Yeah. But it's a way of letting your character have more variety in how they fight. That isn't just, I use a rapier, I use a longsword, I use a bow and arrow. But it's actually how you use those weapons that makes your character stand out. Yeah,
I think that's awesome. For me, I think it's giving melee characters kind of a selection of things to do, because in the way you get spellcasters and they have their book of like cards or something, they're like, well, what am I doing today? And sometimes when you're playing a rogue, you're like, well, I sneak attack them with my dagger, I guess, and then that's that. So I feel the combat maneuvers allow you to kind of customize your character a bit more, and you can almost tailor a cool style of fighting to it. So that's why I quite like it as well. And maybe if you think it would be useful to have a deck of cards to help you sort through those combat maneuvers, maybe you should let us know. Maybe that's something we'd make in publishing. I don't know, maybe. But yes, that's kind of combat maneuvers in there. So just going through the questions as well. So we have a very important question as well. This is very much along the vein of the pirate question, but besides D20, what is the best die? Kurt, over to you first.
Aesthetically, I'm gonna say D12. Realistically, I'm gonna go D8.
Oh. Do you have reasons to back up your opinions, or just are you taking no questions?
That's just pure gut instinct.
No questions at this time. Thank you, Gabby.
I gotta go with a D4 because not only is it just aesthetically just pleasing to me, but can be used as a real life weapon.
That's good. That would have been my answer, so you took mine. How about you?
A D10 because percentage dice cause chaos.
I was going to say D10 as well.
Yes,
I have dice on hand at any given time.
I was about to say, where did you just get those from? Just pulled them out of the ether? Oh, no.
She's a professional game master. She always has dice on her. She's ready.
Just within reach of my desk, I have more. We just got dice everywhere. It's
a professional hazard. Excellent. Well, thank you for that very, very important question. And yes, D4 pretty much caltrops, as someone said. So yes, that is pretty much how that works. Someone has asked as well. So we have a question. generally about tabletop RPGs. So I think this doesn't have to be specifically about Level Up Advanced 5th Edition, because at Ian Publishing we love loads of different systems, because we have a few. But they've asked, what aspects of tabletop RPGs do you feel like let you express your story the best? I'll start answering this a little bit just to give people time to think, because I can see everyone going, oh, because that's a really good question. Hey, thanks, Ryan. So for me, in tabletop RPGs, the thing that lets me express my story the best is, I think, the way you kind of create your character and having things that make you think about their backstory and who they are as a person is the best thing for me. Because I think if you know who your character is, then it's really easy to kind of know how they'd react in a situation, even if it's a situation you haven't thought of before. If you know who that person is, it's really easy to kind of be in that. So I think, which is also why I like Level Up. And you're like, oh, Jess, you would say that you work for the company, and it's true. But I really like the way it's delved into character creation. And it's a lot more in depth and detail, and it makes you think about things and ask more questions about the character. So when you come to the table, you have a more fully formed kind of character. And I think that's something someone commented here. They said, oh, I love how you haven't even started and you've got really formed character ideas. And I think that's something the cast have done there. So that's my answer to the question. Does anyone else have an answer they'd like to share? No.
I can take it.
Yeah?
Yeah, just tell me when to shut up, honestly. For me, it's I write in a lot of different contexts. In my real world, I'm an academic, and then I've been known to do National Novel Writing Month. I write in a lot of different, I write mechanics for role-playing games. I write a lot of different things. But when I'm writing a tabletop campaign, it's not just me.
Yeah.
I set up a framework. I set up a sandbox. And then someone comes in and says, well, what if I did this? And I go, well, what if you did that? And I completely change my story. And the result is a world that feels far more organic and lived in and real, because it's not just something that I tried to create out of my own head, that did my best to like, capture like different human experiences, because that's tough. That's really tough. That's the challenge of being a writer. But with tabletop games, it's already there. And I really think it taps into something that is intrinsically, historically human. We've always been sitting around the fire telling shared stories. Tabletop games are just the new way to do that. And I think that is phenomenal.
Wow, that's a really good answer. Who's going to go after Sarah?
I mean, I was
Nose goes.
but well, I will. I'm not. It's not going to be as impressive as that. But I am a big improviser. I love being able to play with people that I can flow off of, and I usually let like the role play and things of that nature, like build my character besides like all the mechanical things and what I have thought of, because usually the idea I have for my character doesn't get brought to light until my first interaction with another player. And they're like, you smell like peaches. And he's like, oh, well, I guess I smell like peaches now. I don't even like peaches, but so. And I just, those type of moments, it's so interesting to find and figure out what other people can come up with about your own ideas and your own character and things of that nature, and like the relationship that you build during the campaign is just absolutely beautiful. And it's like candy.
Awesome. Gabby or Kurt, do you have any thoughts to throw on the table?
I just like when it comes to just like telling a story, it's just, I don't know, that's such a hard question to answer, because I feel like it changes based on which group you're with and what character you're bringing to the table, because like no matter what, it's not always just your story, it's a collective story that you're telling. You know, it's funny because it's like with the character creation, you'll be kind of like, for me, I have a lot of characters that I'll just build, and then I'll join a campaign, and I'm like, oh, here are some characters that I have. Here's some character ideas that I've had before. Like, how do they fit? And like, it's like kind of like just in real life of like you're just your own person until you're introduced into like a new world, and it's your interactions with those new people that you meet and those new characters that you meet and all of that happening, that I think that's how your story gets expressed.
Yeah, that's good. Well, Kurt, you're usually a bit of a forever GM, aren't you? So you're usually the narrator, but you're a player this time. So is expressing the story is probably quite different as a game master to being a player. I know you're excited to be a player as well. I'm going to ask as well.
I agree with everything everyone else has said here. But yeah, specifically, I think one of the exciting things as coming from like the narrator, the DM chair, is the fact that it isn't just your story; it becomes our story that we're telling together. Like Sarah said, and that becomes very exciting because there's never a moment that you're 100% sure of what's going to happen in the story or what's coming down next. So it's always very exciting to be able to sit down and to share those stories together. So yeah, but I'm excited to be on the player side for a change this time though.
Yeah, that was good to know. I think that was one of the first things you said when I contacted you about it. You're like, oh, I get to be a player. Awesome. Yes. so yeah, it's change for running a change phase. I don't know if we have any forever GMs in the comments as well, but they'll relate to that feeling. We've had an excellent question asked here as how can one support the show? And the best way you can support it is by watching. So if you join in and watch the live streams and comment, that would be a really great way for you to support the show. Also, another great way is if you follow us on our social media platforms, which are listed up here. I will get the direction right one day. So we're EM Publishing RPG on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and obviously we're EM Publishing on Twitch. So if you could give us a follow on there to keep up with what we're doing, that is great. If you watch the show and you like it, the best way to support indie RPG publishers is by buying our stuff. So if you go on to empublishingrpg.com, that's our online shop where you can have a look at Level Up and see kind of all the details of it. And if it's something you think you'd like, hey, why not purchase it? And also at levelup5e.com, there's loads of resources and information. So the best way to support the show would be to kind of follow us on our socials, come watch the show every Tuesday at 3 p.m. And also share it on our socials. We've got lots of trailers and stuff, so if you think it looks cool, if you could share it on your socials and say, hey, I'm going to watch this campaign, and tell other people about it, that would be an excellent way to support the show as well. So we would really appreciate that. So thank you very much for that question, because that is an excellent question. And they've said here, can we expect to see a bunch of in-character or recap TikTok snaps, etc.? So I manage the TikTok account because Russ, who owns EM Publishing, doesn't know what TikTok is. So I'll post some stuff on ours, and I'm sure some of these other folks here that are on TikTok will also be showing a few bits and pieces as well, so you can have a look at that on there. We are coming up to the top. Harsh but true, Russ. Do you have, yeah, but fair. There you go. So if you can follow us on TikTok, that'd be great, because I only recently made the account like a few months ago, and I'm a woman in her 30s who doesn't really understand how social media works. So if you could support, that would be great. But yeah, we are coming up to the top of the hour. So if you have any questions about anything we've talked about, please ask us. If you have any questions about the campaign, let's get some pretty pictures on the screen. So if you have some questions about the campaign here, about the STAR-CROSSED Seaway, for any of the cast, while we have them here, now is an excellent time to do that. We also talked about the upcoming Level Up books. We have the Void Runner's Codex, the Dungeon Delver's Guide, and To Save a Kingdom. So those will be coming to Kickstarter later in the year. So let us know if you have any questions about that we can talk you through. We also, if you have any questions about the new Scientist and the Scion class for playtesting, we would like you very much to playtest it. If you go up to levelup5e.com and click on the news section, you'll see links there, so you can download for free the documents to take a look, and would really love your feedback about it. And last but by no means least, if you have any questions about our Kickstarter campaign, our quick starter campaign, which is starting next week on Tuesday the 26th, it will run for 10 10 days. And as we mentioned earlier, we will, once the campaign ends, we will fulfill the PDFs immediately that very same day. And then we'll send the books to you shortly afterwards, as quick as we can get your address and post and print them to you. So if you have any questions about that, please do let us know. We have a little question, which I think is for Sarah, which is, what's a quirky secret about your world that's inconsequential that nobody knows yet?
Well, that's a great question, because I haven't actually shared anything about the setting with the players. So all of it is a quirky secret that nobody knows yet. But something that I think counts as quirky is, because I have sort of free reign over this little region, I was like, I'm going to have fun with the religion aspect. And I really leaned into this idea of, the gods aren't omnipotent. They're not omniscient. They're pretty powerful, but like, you can yell at God and like it might work, because I think that's really fun in a tabletop game. So the idea of having, you might have, there's some big gods that, most people are familiar with, but you could have a god of, please help me find my keys in the morning. And if you believe in it hard enough, well, maybe that god can actually grant you a spell of find my keys. That is fun. I just think that works well for tabletop gaming. It lets people have a wide variety of deities, wide varieties of power. And it creates a really interesting world where, yes, you will have a little shrine to the god of please help me find my keys, and also the god of please help the storms not crush my boat. And they work together. Like that felt fun.
That's a great answer. And that's a great question as well, Ryan. Thanks so much for that question. Absolutely love that. So if you have any more, now's the time, because we're coming up to the top of the hour. But thank you so much for coming on. I want to say thank you very much to the cast for coming on and giving their time to talk to us. So thanks so much. Took, if people, obviously they will be watching you here on the platform they're watching in the campaign, but if they want to find you elsewhere online, where would be a good place to find you and the stuff you do?
Oh boy. You can find me here on Twitch. Here, like I streamed today, actually. Like I do a lot. But also, if you are very into cosplay and little stupid skits and things of that nature, you can come find me on TikTok as well. But you can catch me on here on Twitch and on TikTok.
That's great. And that's all Took, I Guess, is the handle there to find you.
Yes, Took, I Guess.
Excellent. Excellent. And Gabby, how about you? If people enjoyed hearing about Applestock and wanting to know more about your other quirky characters, where can they find you online?
Yes, you can find me on TikTok at GabbySoGabby. I also, again, I'm on Twitch. I do live streams. I'm with a group called Queer Questers, where we stream at twitch.tv/Ryan the Enchanter. And we usually play 9 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays. So if you like watch this and you're like, wow, can't get enough of Gabby, you can check us out immediately after on the other thing too. So yeah. But like at GabbySoGabby on TikTok, we'll also have a bunch of other things that I'm involved in and doing and stuff like that.
Awesome. And Kurt, where can we find you online?
Most often you can find me dancing poorly on TikTok at Mr. Kurtwise. I'm also on Twitter at Mr. Kurtwise. And then you can find me on YouTube and Twitch, where I stream with the 5% Chance channel. It's 5% Chance, all spelled out, no percent symbol.
Yeah. And that's and you run that game as well. So if people like you as a player, they can see what you're like as a narrator as well.
Yes.
Excellent. And Sarah, where can we find you? So if people love the campaign and want to ask you questions or give you ideas on how to treat these poor characters, where can they find you?
The best place to find me is on Twitter. So I am at _DM_Sarah, because DM Sarah was taken. I'm also technically on Twitch occasionally at just DM Sarah. Occasionally, usually that'll be me dying a lot in Red Dead Redemption 2 or something. And the next
relatable content
at the bottom of my textbooks, because I have finals, that I will be much more active on the socials.
Excellent. And obviously, I'm Jess from EN Publishing, and you can find us at EN Publishing RPG on all the socials above. You can find out all of the shows we do at enliverpg.com. So obviously, the first show and the one we're all here to talk about is the STAR-CROSSED Seaway, which starting next week, EST, every Tuesday. Also on that same site, we have Not D&D, which is a show where we talk about tabletop RPGs that are not D&D for a bit of a change of pace. On Monday, we are talking about The One Ring, this book. So tune in and watch that on Monday. And then on Tuesday, come in, and then we will do a little bit of Level Up Advanced 5th edition with the STAR-CROSSED Seaway. So thank you very much for everyone coming along and asking your questions. For now, we'll say goodbye, and I'll play us out with the little promo for the STAR-CROSSED Seaway because I made it and I like it. Thanks very much. Bye.
Bye.